Here's Michael Smerconish.
Francis Frank Biden is the youngest of President Joe Biden's 3 siblings. I think I have the order right in terms of Joe, Val, Jimmy, and Frank. Well, he'll tell me if I'm wrong because
he will tell you. Because
this is Frank Biden. Hey, Frank, it's nice to have you back on the program. Nice to see you. I hope that you're well.
Hi, Michael. How are you? Yes, I am recovering from my surgery. It's been 2 months now. Hi, TC. Most importantly, how are you?
I'm doing great, sir. Nice to see you.
So Frank, I want to talk. I want to talk about your health, and I want to make sure that you are well. I also want to ask, how is brother Joe doing? Because of course we wish him Godspeed. He's fighting prostate cancer. I saw a report within the last few weeks about him undergoing radiation therapy. How is he?
He is doing really well. He finished his round of radiation. He's responded terrifically. He is, he's a champ. He's a fighter. As I tell you all the time, he's my hero and a lot of people's hero. And he is one tough son of a gun. So Joe has got a lot of fight in him, and he's just a great example of someone who will never give up.
I remember during his presidency, you telling me that you would speak. It might not be for long, but it was your habit that you'd speak to him every day. Is that still the case?
No, we don't speak every day. We're in contact quite a bit. I'm pretty busy, and he is pretty busy too. And sometimes our schedules don't match up. But all of our siblings are. It's really terrific. We're kind of back in the nuclear family situation where we have the opportunity to speak to one another when we have the time and inclination. We got together about a month ago, so it's dramatically different than when he was the leader of the free world.
TC and I still laugh about the day that Val, your sister, came into the studio and she looked around and we had a wonderful conversation. She had written a memoir. The book was really fun, but she looked around and of course in the studio, I have pictures of myself doing interviews, including with presidents of the United States. And she just happened to look at a photograph of me with President Trump. Remember, TC? She was like,
I will never forget that.
And I'm like, well, Joe is right there.
No.
She's like, no, Joe's not in a position of prominence.
Not happy.
Yeah, she was not. She was pissed. And we laughed about it. We laughed, but I enjoyed her. Send her back and send Hunter in. Would you please do that? Because I'm watching some of his interviews.
You got to get Joe in too.
Well, I figured, the guy wants a break now. He's fighting cancer. He's writing his memoir.
He is all of the above. But if there's anyone I would wish him to speak to, it's you.
That's nice of you to say.
I listen to you all the time. Congratulations on your newsletter, which is really my primary source of my predicate of information.
Now you're playing me, Frank. Frank, now you're playing me. Now you're playing me.
No.
All right, tell me how is.
I'm not campaigning for anything.
Tell me how is your.
I've got no dog in the hunt here, Michael.
Tell me how is your health, and tell everybody what you've been through, because I don't want to reveal anything that you've shared with me privately. How are you doing?
Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted to speak to you. I had prostate cancer. I had prostate cancer. But because of my brother's non-diagnosis and his having to go through the radiation and the opportunity, he didn't get the opportunity to catch this at an opportune time. They were this terrific doctor, Dr. Patel up in Orlando, Florida, who I was referred to by John Morgan, immediately had me go in for a biopsy because it's brother to brother. It's almost, it's some ridiculous number, the percentage of my having cancer because Joe has it, like 800%. And sure enough, mine had grown to the point of full-blown cancer. They had to remove my prostate, which they did 2 months ago. It's not that brutal surgery it used to be because they use a robot. They use the Da Vinci machine. My doctor, who's world renowned, has done 19,000 of these, and he was able to get in and remove my prostate. Now I'm just, crossing fingers and go in every 3 months and pray that it has not metastasized into the bone. And that's what happened to Joe, and that's why he had to have the radiation. So one of the primary reasons I wanted to speak to you, and I'm talking directly to you, Michael.
Go ahead.
Go in there and get your PSA checked. This is a wholly preventable cancer. It is screening absolutely saves lives.
So I know I need the message. I always want the PSA checked in the blood work. I'm not going to lie to you. I hate I'm just going to say it, the digital exam. I can't take it. And Joe, Frank, it keeps me up. It keeps me up for nights if I know that appointment's coming up.
Yeah.
TC's laughing at me. Go ahead. Go ahead. TC wants to say, I go to the OBGYN all the time.
Frank, honestly, come on. Tell him.
Are you kidding? What they have to endure versus what we sissies have to endure is not even in the same league. So I'm with you, TC. But I, like you, Michael, am a big chicken.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Had my brother not picked up the phone and said, Frankie, go get checked, I would not have done it, and I would be a dead man today. I'd be dead.
Okay, well, we're glad you're not.
Mine was so advanced. Pardon me?
I said we're glad you're here to tell the story. Frank, I have to ask you a question because it's directly relevant to this, and people have wondered. Joe, as president, was getting the most attentive care anybody could ever receive. So, and I know there's an answer because of his age. Maybe you don't.
There is.
Okay, well, let me ask the question.
No.
The question is, why wasn't it picked up sooner? What's the answer?
Because at the time, the national guidelines from NIH were that at Joe's age and condition, you were not to be tested. Tested was not recommended. So here's Joe, the rule follower, and wanting to not do something that every other veteran or every other American in the American healthcare system would do. He didn't get tested. Now I'm pissed off about it, and Val is, and Jill is, of course, but that's what he did.
Right.
And it wasn't until the symptoms were so apparent, and it can have deleterious effects in so many areas of your life, not just that you're running to the bathroom 4 times a night.
So not to be intrusive, but you're telling me it runs brother to brother. Is Jimmy okay?
Yes, Jimmy's good. Jimmy's good. And this harkens back to my mother's statement that Joe and I should have been twins, but Jimmy says about 10 words in a month and is very healthy. Healthy as a horse.
I'll never forget getting on an airplane in 2008. In 2008, an airplane from Philadelphia. I think I've told you this before. Going to Denver for the convention where your brother would become the vice presidential Democratic nominee. And who walked on that plane? Your mom. Your mom got on that plane. And I knew who she was. And there was like a buzz that went through the, commercial flight. We're probably flying like US Air. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, what does that feel like to be flying to a convention where your son is going to be named a vice presidential candidate?
You know what? Thanks for this story. So any memory of mom is a great one. She was something else. I remember at that convention, we were ushered into Mile High Stadium, and we were at the 50-yard line. And mom was Joe pushed her out in a wheelchair, and I had my hand on one side of the wheelchair. And the sound was absolutely deafening. And when Joe walked out and we all walked out together, they started chanting Biden, and it was really overwhelming. And I mean, you could feel it in your chest. I don't understand how they can call plays in that kind of environment.
Right.
I digress.
So let me ask you
I
something.
remember Mom. Yeah.
I want to ask you something because I know we're limited on time, and what I really want to do is I want to get you in this studio so we can spend an extended period of time. But what I most wanted to ask, beyond how's your health and how is Joe's health, is what's it like? What's it like for the family to now be on the outside looking in? Is it relief, or because the current president is still mentioning Joe's name constantly, is it an ongoing irritant? I mean, how does it feel?
You know, for me, I'll speak for me personally, it's a relief. And I can tell you this, we wish this president and this presidency, and I know I speak for all of us, nothing but goodwill. It's time to end this absolute vitriol. It is so divisive and so hurtful to so many people. The thought that families will be divided over the issue of Trump versus not Trump at Thanksgiving breaks my heart. I'm not being Pollyannish here either. Your initiative about the mingling idea is something I've taken up down here.
How so?
And it is absolutely essential that we come back together as a nation, and that starts neighbor to neighbor. So yes, we, like many Americans, are very concerned with particular issues, and Joe will never take his eye off the ball when that's concerned. And Valerie, especially, she's very engaged. But the idea that we should sharpen knives and eviscerate one another is absolutely absurd. And the last thing that the Biden family would advocate.
Is Joe happy? I mean, can Joe relax now and rest and recognize that he served his whole life in government? He was the vice president. He was the president of the United States. There's unfinished political business with Trump. I get it, but does he have peace?
As his little brother, I can't read Joe's mind, but when he's with me, when I've been in his company, like a month ago, Valerie received an award as one of the women of the century in Delaware. It was a neat event. Anyway, we were all together, and he was very much at peace. And he so enjoys people, and people were flocking to him, and we couldn't get him out of there. So yeah, there is a degree of peace. Is there also a feeling in the pit of his stomach that there may be unfinished business? I bet that because of the nature of my brother, just his nature, I'm sure there's some of that too. But on any given day, he is grateful and happy to be alive, and I know that he wishes desperately that this country come back together.
I was on a train from Washington to Philly, so of course I came through Wilmington 2 weeks ago, and your brother was on it. Very low key. Yeah. I couldn't get near him, and I didn't want to overstep my bounds. I would have of course greeted him and said hello, but it's just kind of funny, He's on Amtrak. Yeah, he's on Amtrak.
Yeah, sure. Well, there's a terrific book that is out. It's been out for a while, written by the guy who was formerly head of the Heritage Foundation. And it talks about transition, that in this stage of our life, I'll be 72, November 25th, I'm writing my epilogue. I get to, what little wisdom I've accumulated over the years, now I get to apply as a teacher. I get to unabashedly talk about compassion and empathy and the things that motivate me, recovery, helping people who have addiction and who are families that are suffering through that. I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing that. And it gives me great pleasure to do so. And again, I know I have a disease where I continue to talk over people, and I don't want to talk over you, but the idea is that, pick up that book. It is
I will.
former head of the Heritage.
It sounds like it's my kind of thing. Look, I really just wanted
Yeah, it is.
I wanted to check in. I wanted to ask how your health is, how the president's health is, and say happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And now I know happy birthday. TC says happy birthday as well next week. Let's figure out a way to get you in this studio.
Ehrenberg says hello. Dave Ehrenberg says hello. You know, he's my partner down here.
He's
One of the partners in-
TC's classmate in Boston.
Yeah.
In Boston.
Yeah, in
They,
Boston.
you know, they don't like to say the school, Frank. They don't like to. Oh no, I went to school in Boston.
My daughter went to school in Boston. She's a writer for Netflix. So
Nice.
anyway.
Oh, awesome.
My-
All right. I hope I see you soon.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy birthday.
Me too.
All
Me
right.
too. Happy Thanksgiving.
See you, Frank.
Bye-bye.
Checking in with Frank Biden. Nice little check-in, right?
The best.
I get a kick out of him. I could just talk to him for
I know that.
for hours.
I know you could.
Yeah.